Hi! Today we're going to learn about finding a z-score. So before we get started with finding a z-score, let's first figure out what a z-score is. So the formula for finding a z-score is z is equal to observed minus expected over the standard deviation. Alright, so what does this tell us? Well, essentially, we have an observed point. So we have an observed point, and then we have an expected point, and we have our standard deviation. So given this formula, we can see that a z-score basically tells you how many standard deviations away a value is from the mean. Alright, now let's look at an example. So let's say we had a sample of people, and let's say we were asking them for the amount of money that they had in a bank at that time. But let's say they were all high school kids. So the mean amount of money, let's say, was $500. And because they're high schoolers, their amounts of money are probably going to vary a lot. So let's say their standard deviation was about $50. So now let's say we approached a different student, a different randomly picked student, and his amount was, so his amount, just X, was equal to $750. So we know that this is much greater than 500. But what will the z-score tell us? Well, the z-score, if we plug it in, we'll get z is equal to 750, which is our observed value, 750 minus 500 over 50, which gives us 250 over 50, or 5. So what does this tell us? Well, this tells us that the student's amount of money is 5 standard deviations above the mean amount of money that the people have. So we can write that down. The amount of money that the student has is 5 standard deviations above the mean. Alright, so it's simple as that. Now, what is the purpose of z-scores? Well, we get into what the purposes of z-scores are when we start looking at normal distributions. So, let's say we have a normal distribution. In this distribution, actually, we're going to run out of space. So, take a moment to get this down in your notes. So let's draw a normal distribution. In the normal distribution, we have our mean, which is at the center. So this is what the expected value is. Now, in the problem that we just had, we know that this student was 5 standard deviations above the mean. So 5 standard deviations is a lot. And so the student would probably fall around here. So there's 1 standard deviation, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 standard deviations. So this is where the student would fall. So this is what their x value would be. So the z-score basically tells us how many standard deviations away from the mean our point was. Today we learned about finding a z-score and what a z-score is. Thanks for watching this video.